Harriet spent the rest of the afternoon making a map of the castle. This was very boring work and required several different colors of crayon, but she was able to find her way to the Grey Room without any trouble. From the Grey Room, the butler led Harriet up a long spiral staircase and into the princess's bedroom. They slept in a tower, very high above the ground, to make it extra hard to break in. The bedroom was very long, lined with a dozen beds with iron frames. There were bars in all the windows. The doors were made of iron and had 7 locks and 7 bars and 4 combination locks and 3 chains and a complicated thing made out of spikes. And someone wanted to make very sure that door stayed closed. "This is like prison," said Harriet. The butler grunted. She shut the door behind her, and she heard the bar grind heavily into place, and then the clunks and bangs and clatters of the other locks closing. She turned and faced the princesses. They were wearing nightgowns and holding each other's hands. All of them looked sad. Some of them looked angry and sad, or bored and sad, or tired and sad. Harriet thought that she had never seen so many shades of sorrow in one place. One or two appeared to be dozing off where they stood. Dancing all night apparently left you very tired in the morning. "Right," said Harriet, clapping her hands. "Listen up." All 12 of the mice stared at her. "You all look like you're at a funeral," said Harriet. "I don't blame you. Your father's very weird. Also, there's this whole curse thing going on. My name's Princess Harriet, and I'm here to break the curse." Privately, she thought that something would have to be done about the Mouse King as well, but that was technically treason, so she kept it to herself. "Now then," said Harriet. She decided to find out what kind of princesses these were, and whether they were going to be any help in breaking the curse. If you could be anything, anything at all, not a princess, what would you be? The mouse princesses looked at her as if she'd lost her mind. "Come on, don't be shy. I fight ogres. I really want my own pirate ship. What would you do?" "I'd be a florist." It was August who had spoken. Harriet wasn't surprised at all. "Good choice. What else?" "I'd invent a new kind of catapult." "I'd write novels." "I'd get married and have 10 kids, and I wouldn't name them after months or days or anything. They'd have real names like Samantha or Bob." "Great," said Harriet. "Nobody wants to brush their hair and sing duets with forest animals." "Good. I can work with that. Except maybe the 10 kids thing." She cracked her knuckles. "Now, I gather that you can't tell me anything about the curse." 12 mice shook their heads. "The spell stops you from talking about it, the usual magic stuff." 12 mice nodded glumly. "But you'd like it broken if possible." 12 mice nodded vigorously. "Does anybody here actually like dancing?" There was a long, long silence. "I used to. Now I hate it." "December, was it?" asked Harriet. She patted the youngest mouse on the shoulder. "Well, we'll see what we can do." A small room had been separated from the rest of the bedroom with paper screens. Harriet set her packs down inside it and looked at the bed. Dozens of unsuccessful heroes had slept there. Probably none of them had a poncho of invisibility, though. She sat down on the bed. In the other room, she could hear the princesses getting ready for bed. January, the oldest mouse, tapped on the screen. "I brought you some hot chocolate," she said. "Thanks," said Harriet. "That's very kind of you." There was an odd moment as January tried to hand her the mug, and at the same time tried to not hand her the mug. Her fingers flexed helplessly on the handle. Harriet could recognize the spell when she saw it. She took the mug away from the mouse and lifted it to her lips. January watched her closely. It was the best-smelling hot chocolate that Harriet had ever sniffed. It had nutmeg and cinnamon and spices. And if it doesn't also have something in it to make me sleep, I will personally eat my sword without salt. August peeped anxiously around the screen frame. If I don't drink it, January will know that something is up, though. I wonder if she'd be forced to give me another drink. Harriet drank the whole cup of hot chocolate in one draught and smiled brightly at the Mouse Princess. January nodded, took the mug, and left. "Good night," she said from the doorway. Harriet waited until the princess had left, pulled the chamber pot out from under the bed, and spat the entire cup of chocolate into it. Everybody forgets that we hamsters have cheek pouches. Bleck, she said from under her breath, wiping her whiskers with a handkerchief. She looked up. August was still watching her. Harriet winked.